This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art? Or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master. The one that's more than a rapper. The one that's an educator. The one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts. He's got the mindset expansive. He understands that it's time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. And yes, the thumbnail did change, but potentially I will change it back because I don't want people to think that I'm doing some clickbait stuff. So we might dig into it. And this is Comics Today, and as part of this show, we talk about news and current events. We talk about books that we may have all picked up at our LCSs. We typically have a guest or two on to help us to make sense of something happening in the world of comics and collectibles. And I just noticed that my guest was backstage and his head was bobbing as we were playing the intro music. So that must mean that the music is dope. Huge shout out to my cousin, Brandon Isaac, for allowing me to leverage his creation in the various videos that I release here from the channel. In a moment, I want to go to the chat to see what it is that you all may have picked up at your LCSs earlier today, because this is a celebration of New Comic Book Day. If you picked up something, let us know what you picked up. Shout out to LCS. If you read something that is good that we should put on the top of our reading stacks, I want to know that as well. I do have a small stack of books here on my table that have shown up from Nirvana Comics, my local comic shop that hooks me up. So I'm going to rip through some of those. I received a message between last week's show and this week's show about ASM and a story that has been put out there by the writer working on ASM. And I was told that ASM has suddenly gotten good. And so I'm trying to find time to read the last few issues leading into the one that I've heard is a really good issue. If you've been reading ASM and you think that it is indeed good, let me know that as well. Let me go to the chat real quick. I know that there was some conversation about the possibility that I have not seen a barber in a very long time. That is somewhat accurate. I still have a barber that comes to the house. He just does not cut my hair. He cuts my boy's hair, but I technically do have a barber. Shout out to Trav, the shipping guru, for that one. Scrolling through the chat again, if you guys picked up something dope, let us know what that is. I literally had to run out into the other room. Speaking of pearly whites, and I have my daughter brushing her teeth, and her bathroom is right next to the comic book room. And it was the fastest toothbrushing ever. And I had to go in there and be like, no, you need to actually make sure all the teeth get scrubbed, not just your favorite teeth. She has a dentist appointment tomorrow, as does my son. And I'm like, you don't want bad news from the dentist. That is ungood right there. Shout out to Rush Die Hard, my Canadian brother. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Trev, if you are about to eat some Taco Bell, you are going to need more than luck, sir. You need to fortify yourself. I highly recommend some very plush Charmin. I recommend it because it might get brutal for you, brother. Let me scroll down through these comments here. My man Frog Brawler's up in here. It's good to see you, a member of the channel. Thank you, brother, for joining, and it is good to see you. I see lots of frogs coming in here. Let me see. I've had Reggie live streams several times in the classroom over the years. Fun times. That's what's up. Scrolling through, I actually did a live stream for a classroom once. I was piped in for a classroom. Herman, bro. So my man Herman dropped a comic. It was an ASM comic. I don't know what issue it was. He dropped it several days ago. And this post on Instagram that he put up captured my imagination. It captured my attention. I immediately made multiple purchases to add the comic that he was showing in his Instagram post to my collection. And I encouraged him to to stop sharing pornography on social media because it captured my attention and I spent way too much money. Herman, shout out to you, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Scrolling down through some of the comments because I am way behind. Scrolling through. I think I made. Oh, wait a minute. No. Been a while since I caught a lot. Turbo Todd's up in here. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Fingers crossed that you can indeed be more consistent. Again, if you guys have picked up some stuff at your LCSs, let me know what it is that you've picked up. We did I think a solid job with some X-Men books back there, man. I didn't go with Giant Size X-Men and X-Men 1. I decided to leave those in the bin, but I tried to get some decent representation up there on the wall. I am a fan of the X-Men. Chris Bigger's in the house. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. TMX did not pick up any comics, but he did pick up a respiratory infection. I wish you well. There are other types of infections that could have been worse, just being honest. Matt Wood said he picked up a dope man thing. Oh man. We are a family friendly channel here. Picked up a dope man thing #1 from a Whatnot comic book seller. Yes, Matt Woods came through and blessed me on Sunday along with several other members of the channel on the Whatnot machine, and he was fortunate to snatch up some good stuff. Went out to my LCS Nirvana comics. Shout out to Nirvana, also my comic shop. And the standout picks were Daredevil #1 and Batman Gargoyles of Gotham. There you go. Batman Gargoyle of Gotham. Shout out. I have not read that, but there you go. My Canadian brother Mark is on the board. Daredevil 1, Something Epic 5, Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer #1, Werewolf by Night, Alpha Flight #1. I like the Alpha Flight #1. I enjoyed the Alpha Flight #1. It was a fun, easy read that if you I'm a Alpha Flight fan, right? So, but it was a fun, easy read. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to issue #2. ASM has always been good. No, that's absolutely not true. Nick Spencer's run for the last 2 years was abysmal. It was abysmal, but I am a hardcore fan of Spider-Man. If Nick Spencer couldn't drive me off of Spider-Man, I don't think that anybody can. Let's be completely honest about that. Scrolling down through some of the comments. How you doing, brother? 2 cents. Green Lantern 3, Batman Gargoyle of Gotham #1 was amazing, he says. Scrolling through some of the comments, Reggie, don't believe the hype. Scrolling through my eye, scrolling through, seeing what else we have in there. King Grogu, scrolling down through the comments here. Frog Brawler says he picked up Daredevil, Venom, Something Epic, and also the Harriet Tubman book, and then also a Loki book. What is that symbol? What is that little icon in there? Is that a moon? I don't know what that is. I've never seen that before. Tell me what that is. Steve White's on the board. How you doing, brother? Picked up and enjoyed Venom, The New Werewolf by Night, Miles Morales, Killmore, and Dark Ride, and a few other books. Their Rush is on the board as well. Sent to CGC today, Batman 227, ASM 129, Hero for Hire or H for Hire #1, ASM 78, hoping for 9.6s. Brother, fingers crossed for you. If you get a 9.6 back of Amazing Spider-Man 129, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Good luck, brother. Good luck with that. I have 2 sent in a stack of cool books, and I have another stack of books over there that I'm possibly going to be sending in. I have not sent stuff in to CGC up until for several months, up until the shipment that I did about a week ago. And I think you guys just saw the video like yesterday or something like that. Abby's on the board. Abby, welcome to the live stream. We don't get a whole lot of the ladies in here, even though it represents 12% of my viewing population. But welcome. Picked up a personal girl, Edge of Spider-Verse #2, first appearance of Spider-Gwen, aka Spider-Woman, aka fill it in. Was stoked to get it. You should be, Abby. That is a dope book, no doubt about it. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Way behind. ASM 32 second pretty. It's a dope cover. If you guys haven't seen this cover, it's like, I think it's Vogue, right? It's basically um, Spider-Man's wife on the cover of Vogue, and there was something about the colors, the way that it was drawn that spoke to me. I think I picked up like 5 or 6 copies, something like that. So good stuff, man. Dave Bratton, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. I'm scrolling down through the comments here. All right, so let me show you guys some of the stuff that I picked up or that arrived for me today. ASM, let me take that off the board. We need to take that off the board. Phil Tassik's up in here. ASM 925 or Legacy. I'm sorry, that's Legacy number. The other number is 31. This is a thick one. This is a thick square bound book. I think that Marvel has gotten the notice that they can't print oversized books and saddle stitch them without bindery tears on every single issue. So this thicky thick, they did a square bound, did a good job on that. Again, ASM 31, have not read it, heard good things again about what's happening with Zeb Wells on ASM. This is issue number 32 right there. Here is issue number 33. What do we have? We have the annual for ASM. Looking forward to reading that. Picked up Void Rivals issue number 3. Definitely enjoying Void Rivals. And then we have Miles Morales issue number 9. And Grant at Nirvana sent me a message and he says, "Hey, do you want the variant of Miles Morales 9?" He says there's a flaming sword. And I'm like, brother, you had me at sword. I'm a huge fan of the swords, and then you light it on fire. That is a no-brainer for me. So we went ahead and added that one as well. Shout out again to Nirvana for keeping me supplied. Mr. E picked up Gargoyles of Gotham as well, 2 graphic novels. There you go. That's what's up. There's a new Image book that came out from Jack Kirby. I think it's his characters. I haven't had a chance to read it, but Skybound Image sent me like 8 copies of it or something like that. It's a nice looking book. I haven't looked at it, but I'm going to check it out. Seth says Alpha Flight is definitely underrated. No doubt about it. Puck is my man. I like some Puck. It's actually there you go. It's a gorgeous cover. Again, if you guys, Herman's given all the details. If you guys have not seen it, I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. Grab Damn Them All and Dark Ride, hoping to get the LCS next Tuesday to pick up the file. There you go, Wellbore. It is always good to see you, brother. Chuck, I'm seeing you commenting here, brother. Welcome to the live stream. I definitely appreciate you hanging out. Hopefully all the folks that are up in Canada are doing well. I've heard about a lot of storms and stuff like that hitting, not storms, the fire up there. I think a lot of people are finally getting back into their homes. So fingers crossed. All right. So let me acknowledge the change in the thumbnail. All right. I want to acknowledge the change in thumbnail for a hot minute, under the advice of legal counsel. No. So you guys know me. I think that I'm like a good person, or at least I try to be a good person. I try to do the right thing. And I am always trying to hustle and make magic happen. That is like part of what I enjoy doing. All right. I have a bias for action. And I'm going to be extremely cryptic on this because I don't know if stuff could happen, right? But I was trying to make magic happen for Marcus, which is the second title that is coming out from Swoldier Publishing in October. And I did some things that I thought were good things and on the up and up. And then almost immediately, I received a message from someone accusing me of something that I actually did not do. And I don't know if this person misunderstood what I had done or was just, I don't know. Right. I think that they may have misunderstood what was done and decided to go down a path that I did not anticipate. And I typically can anticipate certain things happening. I'm like, okay, if I do this, this could happen or that could happen. I'm ready for that. This one was completely out of the blue, caught me completely off guard. And it was like, you did something illegal here. And if you don't do this thing, no, if you do what I want you to do, then I'll let you off the hook. It was very, very interesting. And it definitely caught me off guard. And I'm not sure what to make of the situation. I'm not sure if this is going to come back to haunt me. But if Joe was in the room, you know that everything is discoverable, right? So emails, text messages, certainly live streams for the public are all discoverable. So I'm being super cryptic about a lot of stuff because I'm not quite sure. This may have just been a person that was caught on a bad day and reacted negatively. And then later came to their senses. And so I too have been on that side of it where I come in hot, as I say. So I'm waiting to see. And yeah, it was related to the comic book industry, as you would imagine, right? It was one of those things, Herman, that I did not see it coming. And I was outside like grinding stumps because I've been on this whole cut a tree down, bucket down, and then grind the stump thing. And I'm waiting for a mulcher to come, hopefully on Friday. So I'm like super busy. So I'm like drenched in sweat, and I have this exchange, and I'm like, what is going on? And yeah, so I had to step away from it, and it's just a hot mess. It's a hot mess. If you didn't sign this isolation 5, then I'm taking your cat hostage. That's what I felt like, bro. It was like, do this thing and I'll let you off the hook. And I'm like, whoa, that that doesn't seem proper. You're accusing me of something, but that does not seem proper. What I did was definitely innocent. And yeah, that quid pro quo, I don't know if that's the proper legal term, did not sit well with me. But with that said, with that, I wasn't ready for that one. I wasn't ready for that one, Phil Tastic. Phil Tastic was ready. He was ready to come out there with the Clue jokes. You know how long it's been since I played Clue, brother? Like 2 decades or something like that. My second job, what is that? My second job is Dirty Deeds. I'm not touching that. All discoverable. All discoverable. Nobody send me any DMs about this because I will not engage in this conversation after this live stream wraps up. All right. With that said, I do want to show you guys a part of what I got in trouble for. Right. I was promoting Marcus issue 1, which I'm super excited about, and I will tell you, all of the pencils, all of the inks, all of the lettering is done for Marcus issue 1. We are on track to get this comic out to you guys in October. I think it's, fingers crossed, going to be released when I return back from New York Comic Con. And I'm throwing that date out there because I tend to get messages from people like, hey, when is it coming? When is it coming? And I'm like, hey, slow down. It is coming. Because I just saw an order come in from somebody, I'm going to speed this up and do a reveal of the cover for Marcus issue 1, done by Chase Cowan, an incredibly talented artist. This is the cover that he has put together for Marcus 1, and the writer is here in the room right now. I was absolutely blown away by the thumbnail that was drawn of this thing, by the finished pencils and inks, and then Chase actually did the colors. He was like, hey, do you mind if I take a shot at the colors? He and Scott had a conversation. They agreed that it was the right thing to do. And this is what Chase has put together for Marcus issue number 1. And you can see we are taking a slightly different approach for Marcus than what we did for Isolation. We've loosened up how we are choosing to do the covers and the trade dress and all of that kind of stuff because it makes sense for the vision that Scott has for Marcus. But you can see the people that are involved in this. The first name that you see under Marcus is Scott, Chase Cowan, Beth Charlin, incredibly talented letterer and also artist in her own right. But I think that Chase absolutely crushed this one. This is the reveal of the cover that I've been waiting to do because we were just trying to grind and make magic happen. Again, for those that are coming in a little late, Marcus issue 1 is complete, and this is the cover reveal for it. It is now available on SWOLDIERpublishing.com. So if you guys want to pick that up, but let me also show you another package that we've put together because we are doing a similar approach to this as to what we actually did with isolation. This is the virgin version of that, and this one is going to be a premium cover. And I don't know whether we're going to do a matte finish with spot gloss or whether we're going to do foil, but I think we're going to do something really cool and creative with the virgin version of this, which is going to be a premium version. And I can tell you, anytime we do premium stuff, the cost for it is sometimes triple or more of the cover A, which is why we charge more for the premium cover, because it absolutely costs a lot more money. So this is, I think, do I have this one set up as, I think this is package E. This is package E on the website. So package A is available right now, which is cover A. The premium is package E, and this too is available on the website. And then we also have a mystery box as well. Mystery boxes have been really helpful with isolation in terms of helping us to be able to afford all of this. And so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to sell some mystery boxes for Marcus as well. In my head, what I think the mystery box will be various covers that we will create or have created and yet haven't revealed, and a piece of original art as well. I'm going to endeavor to put a piece of original art in each of the mystery boxes, which is typically sent separate because it is a piece of original art. So wanted to show you guys this because I am really excited about this. I think that Scott and Chase and Beth have done a fantastic job of putting together Marcus issue 1. The pages are incredible. I cannot wait for people to have this issue in hand. And I'll cover off on this. If you are planning to be at New York Comic Con, you definitely want to hang out with us. We are going to be at New York Comic Con Thursday through Saturday. More than likely hanging out with Nerdy Girl. She has a booth there. We're going to be hanging out with her, and then we may crash some other people's booths as well. So scrolling through some of the comments here, Joe is a virgin of here. All right, there we go. All right, so that was what I wanted to show you. And again, that is part of why I got myself into trouble, and fingers crossed that there is no legal action that comes out of this. It would be very interesting if it does. But fingers crossed that it doesn't come to that. Fingers crossed the person just recognizes that, they may have misunderstood what it is that I was doing and saying, and this doesn't go any further. So we shall see what happens with that. All right. So we're getting a little close on having our first guest come up. But I do want to share one other thing with you guys before I get to our guest. I've been watching, let me see if I can find it here. Trying to find it. Is that it? Yeah. I've been watching this show, and I'm not gonna to spoil it for anybody. Ahsoka, I think that's how you say it, Ahsoka. I've been watching this show on Disney Plus, and it is fantastic. I am not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I am enjoying this show. I have not watched all of the last issue just yet, but I'm enjoying this. And not as much as The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian to me was just incredible. It was incredible, but I am thoroughly enjoying this show. And I haven't seen or heard, what true Star Wars fans think of this thing. But I am enjoying it. And fingers crossed that the diehard Star Wars fans are enjoying it as well, because I think that it's well done. Randy Snake's on the board. Okay, so I'm not alone in this. Mark is on the board. Randy, it's good to see you, brother. I haven't seen you in a while. He says it's fire. There you go. Scrolling through some of the comments here. There you go. Herman's on the board saying that it's good. There you go. Scrolling through. What's funny, brother, is that I had the number ready because it was like legal action was being thrown out there, and I was like, hey, my attorney's ready. So I mean, not that I want that, but you never know. I'm only 2 episodes in so far. Watched it with my little guy. He seems to be brother. Can that boy hold his head up yet? I mean, I don't know if we want to look to him for like being a critic or whatever. I don't know. Maybe we give him $50 and he'll do a good job. He'll give us a good recommendation. Ahsoka, I think that's how you say it. Ahsoka. Yeah. Ahsoka looks like an Egyptian goddess from back in the day, man. I think it's Rosario Dawson, right? Who I think is a pretty woman. I need to see the latest episode so far. It's solid. Again, I don't disagree. Like, I've been enjoying it. And again, I am not a Star Wars fan. There's a lot of references that I do not get. I just don't get it. So Charles, brother, you gotta relax. You gotta relax. We're not gonna do that, right? It's either good or it's not good. We're not gonna do all of that other stuff, brother. That's just not gonna happen. Yeah, let me keep, yeah. And at the end of the day, I watch movies and TV shows to be entertained. I watch this stuff to be entertained. And if I wanted to talk politics and all that other stuff, I would go watch politics and all that other stuff. Or if it was just really bad, I just wouldn't dare. Milt on the board. Milt, I am still playing my Star Wars game, my Star Trek game on the iPad like nobody's business. All right, let me go in and transition. So I wanted to have a guest on to talk about something. This person reached out to me, and it was a no-brainer for me to extend an invitation to have a conversation about this, because I can't think of a single person that isn't or hasn't been affected by cancer in some way, shape, or form. My mother had a bout with it several years ago. I've had several family members that have passed away from cancer. I have a buddy that his wife was pregnant. She went to the hospital. She gave birth. She basically went home, came back immediately, and then never left the hospital again. She had pancreatic cancer, and we literally went from like a wedding to a funeral in a very tight proximity, right? Where she was passed away, and my buddy raised his daughter by himself. And I think she's like 14 years old or something like that. And so again, when this came to me, it was a no-brainer to extend an invitation to have a conversation about what I think to be an extremely worthy cause that we are going to learn a little bit more about tonight. So I want to welcome to the show DJ Lynx. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Reggie. I extremely appreciate the invitation to come on. And I want to apologize for those legal messages that I sent you earlier today. It was me. I forgot to put JK. Sorry.
Well done, brother. I saw you bobbing your head back there with the music. Was that your music, or were you bobbing your head to my music?
To your music, that beat and those raps, fire. It caught me off guard because I was deep into my notes here, and I was just like, oh man.
My cousin did a good job, man. I sometimes have to edit around his curse words, right? Because we try to keep it family friendly, so I can't use as many of his songs as I would want to. But he's a really talented guy, and it's like I want to try to show some support as best I can, you know, with the platform that I have. So all jokes aside, please don't send me any more legal messages though. I don't need that kind of trouble.
I want the cat.
Well done. So DJ Lynx, you are involved in a project that is called C3, and I'm gonna throw the graphic up here in a hot moment. What exactly is C3 for those that might not be familiar with it?
Thank you. And again, thank you for the opportunity to explain that. So C3 is kind of just shorthand. The official name is Comics Curing Cancer. And what Comics Curing Cancer is, it's a bunch of YouTubers that got together to raise money to raise awareness for cancer research. And it started in 2021. Cardboard Crazies, he created it. I think his grandfather had passed at the time, and he wanted to make an immediate impact by doing a 24-hour live stream. So that started in 2021. And in that 24-hour live stream, we raised $8,000, which was incredible for a couple of small YouTubers, right? So last year, Cardboard Crazies, he was about to welcome his second child into the world. So congrats to him. So he wasn't able to kind of take on the duties of running this because it is a Herculean effort that you have to do. So those efforts went on to Rob Fat Stacks of Comics. So big shout out to Rob Fat Stacks of Comics. And he kind of changed the structure of C3, or Comics Curing Cancer. So it went from a 24-hour live stream to a 3-day virtual event across a multitude of YouTube channels, essentially leveraging all our networks, right? So That was amazing. And through that structural change, as well as our efforts, we were able to raise 23, well, let me not say 23, $2,900 last year. So $100 shy of $23,000. And that was all due to Rob's organizing acumen and just restructuring the entire event. Like, he had this vision for what it was to be. And we raised that almost $23,000, which was absolutely incredible. This year, we're bringing it back. So this is the third year of Comics Curing Cancer. And again, it's going to take place of 3 days, starting October 20th, ending on October 22nd, just raising money on YouTube. Our goal this year is $25,000, which it's aggressive. It's super aggressive, but it's attainable. And we have some things in place that we kind of know where we're going to go with this. So I think we're going to hit that $25,000 mark. The event will start on October 20th at 7:30 a.m. on Legion of Comics on his YouTube channel during the community hangout. And it'll culminate on Sunday with the C3 auction finale on Rob Fat Stacks of Comics channel. Now, in between that time, we'll have a multitude of shows, great live shows lined up. My show is on Friday night, 9 p.m. in the mix, October 20th. And we'll have some auctions and stuff there. And when I'm talking about auctions, last year, for example, we had, I have a list here. So we had donations from John Jang, Javon Jordan, Ben Harvey, Ryan Brown, Andrea Moody, Aaron Bartling, all fantastic cover artists or comic creators, amongst a bunch of other fantastic donations, comic books and things like that, slabs, good stuff. Also on Saturday ends in this thing called the prize wheel, right? So it's the prize wheel show. So anybody that donates $50 gets added to a prize wheel. And on that prize wheel, there's a bunch of slabs and stuff that you can win. And that's happening on Saturday night, the 21st. And that's called the Wheel Spin Show. And then I'm happy to announce this because I was able to announce it today and we announced it on Instagram. So I'm happy, like, I'm super excited to share this on your platform, sir. We're releasing our first ever comic book exclusive. So a Comics Curing Cancer comic books exclusive. So it's for a book titled Unnatural Order that's being published by Vault Comics. And I'm super excited. Big shout out to the Comic Mint, the comic book retailer, the Comic Mint. They donated the entire, it's a $250 print run. They donated the books, the cost of printing, all that's that dope. Stuff. That's fantastic. Dope. So
I just heard about the Unnatural Order the other day. I think they are touting that it's one of the largest independent orders in 2023, and they alleged of the decade. I'm not quite sure about that, but I mean that's a big claim right there. Why do you think so many creators and so many comic creators and YouTube creators and others have come together for this? Like, what do you think the pull is? Like, I think I know the answer, but I like to ask the question to see how you respond to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you answered it right before you brought me on. We've all been affected by cancer. My personal story is my mother passed away of cancer in 2010. And since she passed away May 11th, 2010. I got into some form of cancer charity or another right after that. And I've been doing it every year since. Before that was like the Avon, it's called Making Strides. It's like a walk and we raise money and we walk in Central Park. It's like 7 miles. It's only one day. But then when Chris created Cardboard Crazy, when he created this, I was like, almost found my calling, right? Like, we do YouTube and we do these videos and all this stuff, and it's fantastic. Like, I love editing, but this might be my true calling. And it's the third year that we're doing it. And I'm incredibly passionate about this. And I, just like the other members of the community that partake in this as well.
Now, the other thing about this is that, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have an official affiliation with an organization. Can you talk about that organization? Can you talk about the percentage of proceeds that actually go to that organization? Dig into some of those details, because I think this is something people want to support. And I think the more information that we can give them, the better they feel about what they do.
Absolutely. So Comics Curing Cancer is an official sponsor of the American Cancer Society. So the American Cancer Society recognized the efforts that were made in the first year, and they reached out and wanted Comics Curing Cancer to come into the fold and be part of that whole organization. So in the first year, it was a GoFundMe, right? So people donated money to a GoFundMe account. Chris took that money and then gave it to American Cancer Society. Last year, we had our own landing page. every single dollar that somebody donates goes to the American Cancer Society. 100% of anything that is made, you donate straight through the link, the landing page of Comics Curing Cancer, and all that money goes to the American Cancer Society. So we're not touching anything like that. So even with the exclusive that we have coming out, it'll be on a website, and all that money, 100% of the proceeds of that book are going to go to Comics Curing Cancer. Like, it's going to come to me because it's going to be set up on my website, and then I'm going to just donate all that to the American Cancer Society as well. And hopefully we'll be able to attain that goal of $25,000 and surpass it and maybe hit 30. Who knows? That's what I'm hoping for.
And I think I see a couple of people throwing up the link in there. Shout out to Trev, shipping guru, for doing that. I think that it's a worthy cause, man. I can't think of a single person that has not been affected in some way, shape, or form by cancer. And I think even with that, moving beyond that and actually doing something about it, I think that that's also a huge thing. Shout out to Comic Mint for donating all of the exclusives for you guys to be able to raise money, because that's not cheap. To produce a comic is not a cheap thing. And so shout out. You made mention of how this 3-day event is going to get started.
Yeah.
Can you revisit some of those details and then kind of wrap into that? Where can people go for more information? Because I'm just going to assume a lot of folks want to participate. When does it start? Where does it start? How do people get involved?
Absolutely. Thank you. So the day kicks off on Friday, October 20th on Legion of Comics YouTube channel. So it kicks off at 7:30 a.m. Then after that, we have a bunch of shows. I think a creator called Izzyverse has a drawing show where people can go in, and that'll kind of be like telethon style programming. Gary B has a show, and then my show is on Friday night in the mix, and that'll be like auctions. We have original art for some fantastic creators, as well as slabs and some cool stuff to auction off. And then on Saturday, we have some other people, and I'm blanking on who's on Saturday because I was like so focused on Friday because that's when I got my jam. And then on Sunday, that's the big auction finale. Now, if you want to get involved, we're still looking for donations of suitable auction items.
Define suitable.
Don't clear out your dollar bin. So suitable stuff. So we're
just
looking
say no dollar books. Put some value to it. I respect that.
Yeah,
but define suitable though, so there is clarity around what that actually means.
Yeah, so we're not looking for anything like super high value, but something that's going to get in at least $20, $30 at minimum, right? So it's a charity auction. It's not an opportunity for you just to rid your closet of some things, of some clutter.
To unload your trash.
Yeah, basically.
Let's call it what it is, right?
Yeah, so the main focus is for charity. So you're going to get some deals and stuff during this auction, but keep in mind that the main focus is for charity. It's not for you to, get a steal on a man thing. Shout out to Matt Woods.
He got a steal on that man thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was slinging those books and he got a good deal. DJ Links, brother, I want to thank you for coming on. I also want to thank you for reaching out to me. I think I made mention of this initiative during last week's show because I saw your post go up. And like I said, I don't know a person that hasn't been touched by cancer. That's why I mentioned it, because I connect to it. But then you reached out to me and I was like, it's a no-brainer for me to do what I can to support such a worthy endeavor and cause. So shout out to you. I'm going to reach out to you maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow, to talk about some other things. So stay tuned for that. Any parting thoughts or message you want to deliver?
Yeah, like you mentioned in before you introed me, comic cancer has affected everyone in some way, shape, form, or another. Like I said, it's a thing that I'm super passionate about. I want more people to get involved. I'm a big supporter of talk the talk, walk the walk. And even though we have intent to do good things, if you don't put action behind that, it's all for naught. So I'm glad that the group of people that I'm with, of Rob, Legion of Comics, we're all putting our minds together, our talent, our passion, and we're walking that walk. And I want to thank you again for giving me the platform to express these thoughts to your audience. So thank you for that.
My pleasure, brother. You did a fantastic job. I think I had a chance to meet Rob at a con recently. Yeah. I think I here in Charlotte, he might have been here, and I kind of met him in passing. So shout out to him, and shout out to everybody else that is involved in this cause. DJ Links, I think, are you up for a comic book community award as well this year?
Yeah, so it's funny. I guess I'm the Regie Collects of 2023. I'm up for seven awards this year.
That's what's up. No,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that that means that you're doing the right stuff, right? You know, I
absolutely.
try to walk the talk. I try to do a good job, and I try to have my deeds match what I say. And you know, you hope that when you do
Mhm.
that, then good things are going to come your way. But that's not the motivation. The motivation is to do the good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And when
Absolutely.
the rewards come your way, you say thank you,
Mhm.
and you enjoy those blessings because that's exactly what they are. So with that said, brother, thank you for coming on and hanging out with me a little bit. I'll be in touch.
Thank you for very much, sir. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right, there we go. So huge shout out to him. He reached out to me and I was like, he asked me for something. I was like, well, how about this? And it was a no-brainer for me to do that. So I'm glad that we were able to connect and have him on because again, I think it's such a worthy cause to talk about some of this stuff. All right, how are we doing on time? Not too bad at all. Vote for Tina, says Trev. So shout out to Brian. He is up in here, Comic Book Community Awards. She's got the link up in here. I think both Tina and Trev, the shipping guru, are up for awards. DJ Links is also up for it. If you guys have not yet checked out the Comic Book Community Awards, I definitely want to encourage you to do that. It's a great opportunity to recognize some talented people out there that are putting out some good good content for people to be able to enjoy. He represented well, did he not? He did represent himself well. Rob, how you doing, brother? It is my pleasure. I'm glad that he actually reached out and was like, hey, here's what's going on. And so it was, there you go. A lot of votes coming in. There you go. A lot of good votes coming in. That's what's up. And again, Brian, when you guys are ready to do some kind of update on the Comic Book Community Awards, reach out and we will have a conversation to have you back on the show to talk a little bit about that. So for my X-Men wall back there, it appears that this year, I think, is Wolverine's 50th anniversary, 50th birthday. I don't know what you want to call it. But as part of him being around for that long, Chris Claremont is coming back to write some Wolverine. And this is an article that popped up on comicbook.com. Marvel confirms Chris Claremont is back writing Wolverine for a new series. And this new series, Madripoor, what is it called? Wolverine Madripoor Nights, is going to pick up where his previous one single story ended that involved Captain America, Black Widow, and Wolverine. That this new story is going to pick up where that story actually ended. And I think, let me see if I can find some of the details in here. Let me scroll down. It says, hard to believe, bub. I've known Logan for 50 years, says Chris. Chris is a very interesting guy. This right here, Philip Tan. Philip Tan is he did the cover here. But the very first piece of original art that I ever purchased was a Philip Tan page. This cover I am not particularly in love with. It's not terrible. Wolverine definitely looks pretty cool, but it's not the best cover that I've seen from him. But this Wolverine Madripoor Nights is going to be coming out. I'm not sure of all the details here, but I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I'm looking forward to checking this out. I love Chris Claremont. I love Wolverine. We got a little bit of the taste of this story, and again, it's going to kind of pick up where the other single issue, I think it was like a single issue, ended. So it should be entertaining. So when is this thing dropping? Let me scroll down and see when it's dropping. Nope, that is not it. See if there's they didn't put any details in here. I don't think they put any details in here. Pick things up where Uncanny X-Men 268 left off as Captain America joins Wolverine and Black Widow in the dangerous streets of Madripoor to hunt down. They didn't put any details as to when this thing is going to be released, or at least I'm not able to see it. But fingers crossed that it comes out on time and we can enjoy a really good story. Fingers crossed with good artwork as well. Let me look over here. My pleasure, brother. Thank you for throwing up those links. I appreciate that. Assume it was one of those 5-issue legacy miniseries. You think maybe you could be right about that, because I think that was the cover. They were facing the other direction on that cover, and it's an iconic cover. That's an iconic cover. This one, I don't know about iconic. It's a decent cover. Scott's on the board saying looking forward to the new series. Captain America looking a little chesty. Nothing is as chesty as the Rob Liefeld cover. Maybe Philip Tan was having a little bit. Maybe he was having a little bit of fun on that one. Let me see. All right. So one other thing that I wanted to mention to you. Well, there's a couple of more things. I am going to try to find the time to post up the print run numbers for Isolation issue number 1. I think I mentioned this the other day on Whatnot. I think I did. But we have printed 11,330 issues or copies of Isolation 1 through 4, right? To me, that's a lot of copies. That's a lot of copies. 11,330 individual copies of all of the covers 1 through 4. That is essentially what's been printed. Not sold, because we have a lot that are damaged every single time that we have to basically rip the covers off or stick in a closet. And then we have the print defects and all that kind of stuff. We have ones that we can't sell, and then we have some like issue 1 that we haven't sold, but we've printed and roughly sold 11,330. And what I'm going to do is on the website swoldierpublishing.com, I'm going to release the individual print run sizes for each one of the covers. Again, I've been on this whole thing about transparency, and so I wanted to go ahead and put that out there. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is, one, to walk the talk, right, to the point that DJ Links just made, but also because I'm having a couple of these books graded by EGS, and they were asking for print run sizes, and I wanted to give them accurate information. So I was able to pull the information down, tabulate it, and figure out exactly how many individual issues that we have put together. Brother, that is a lot of bagging and boarding. Let me tell you, there is no doubt about that. So a lot of work goes into the bagging, boarding, the individual inspections that have to happen with these issues before they go out the door. So again, just an FYI on that. We have a Whatnot sale going down tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. There is a link in the description. Bookmark the shows. Tomorrow's show on Whatnot should be a really interesting show. Should be an interesting show. I have a ton of really awesome books that are going to be made available. And to that point, I had somebody the other day indicate that they were not comfortable being on Whatnot. And well, a few people have actually done it. One person was like, it's like another social media platform that I need to keep up with, and I don't want to do that. Another that I remember was like, I just don't want to be on the platform. What I will always say to people is you should never substitute my judgment for your own, right? You should always use your best judgment and do what makes sense for you, your collection, and your wallet. And so I am now on Whatnot after not being on Whatnot for over 2 years when I first heard about it. And I made a decision for lots of reasons. I made a decision to go onto the platform for lots of reasons, and I'm having fun. I think the people that watch the show, I think, are also having fun and also getting some pretty good deals on some awesome comics. So I think people have to, again, use their judgment and make decisions based upon based upon what they are trying to do. All right. So I believe that would yeah. So what's funny, Daniel, is that I actually have occasional help from my parents. I sometimes make my parents come over and bag and board, like when we have a new issue of Isolation or something come out and I need to do a lot at the same time. I'll have family come over and help out. My wife occasionally will do some bagging and boarding, but it's a lot of work. There is no doubt about it. Scott says, I always spend too much on Whatnot. Yeah, I respect it, brother. Part of the reason why we're on there is because I want to use that platform to try to drive additional eyeballs and awareness of the comics that I am releasing from Swoldier Publishing. So both Marcus and Isolation. So that is part of my justification for it, is that. And to that point, let me go ahead and show you guys. This is the cover A of Marcus, to the point of Scott being here. Scott is the writer on this. This is his idea. And Chase Cowan is the very talented artist that put together this amazing battle cover of Marcus issue number 1. And so we are on track to get this book out in October. All of the pages have been drawn, inked, It is a black and white book, right? Drawn and inked and also lettered. This is cover A. It is available right now on soldierpublishing.com. So we have cover A ready. Cover B is going to be the virgin version of this. And I'm not quite sure yet whether we're going to do a matte finish and a spot gloss the way that we've done for Isolation, or whether we're going to do foil or something like that. But it will be a premium cover. This is available as well. I think this is package E. And then we also have our mystery boxes. The mystery boxes will be an assortment of the various covers that will be offered along with a piece of original art. And I don't know exactly what the original art will be just yet, but I'm going to endeavor to make sure that each mystery box goes out with a piece of original art. There are 20 mystery boxes available. They go a long way towards helping me to pay for the art and the lettering and all of the other stuff that goes into the creation of a comic. So if you're feeling frisky, go ahead and check out soldierpublishing.com, support the endeavor, and snag something. Tina's on the board. She's like, I just ordered. I definitely appreciate that. You all have exceeded my expectations, to be honest with you. And Scott sent out a very fantastic message to the team, very heartfelt. I think it is really interesting when you have an idea in your head and then that idea starts to really mature and it becomes more than just an idea. It becomes a real thing that you can see. And I think that Scott had that moment and he sent out a wonderful message to the team that was heartfelt. I was really impressed by it. But again, some good stuff coming out. We are going to have Scott on the show next week. There is another surprise that will be revealed next week. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to stay tuned and tune in for that next show, because I think it's going to be really interesting. That we've been keeping some secrets, I think, pretty well. So some stuff coming up. All right. With that said, we're going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me just a little bit. If you enjoyed this show, I want to encourage you to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you are watching this show and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want to encourage you to do that. If you're feeling frisky, go ahead and bookmark the shows on Whatnot. And if you want to reach out to me for whatever reason, you can do that on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
Straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms with pure souls having them conversations. Synergy and combinations. You flying, we waiting. Indian style in the gold temple of greatness. When you follow the North Star, you coming for the education. This is my audio book. These rhymes are just the imagery. More like an audiographic novel or a memoir about a young MC making timeless music with his mentor. I pray I grasp my letters. Nothing was meant to last forever.